I'm Caroline Bergonzi, and I have been an artist since I was born. I've been drawing all my life, and then painting. And about 6 years ago, I started doing metal work, welding, and some bronze casting as well. So this event today we are here about is more than a usual exhibition that is traditionally to show some work that has been done. This is about getting the work done. So this is one piece made, and the event is that it's going to be the unveiling of this piece in Manhattan, in a park on 68th Street and the Hudson River on the west side. So it's a great honor to see my work expanding to such a level. So this is a bird cutout, typical from my metal work. One sheet of metal cut out, open up in several dimensions, from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions, and in the shape of a bird. And it's going to be displayed on 4 poles on an arrested moment of flying and taking a brief moment to think, a brief moment of peace above the city. And there is also this sense of transformation, of the gold emerging from the center, from the heart, and expanding. So it's a bird, but it's semi-figurative, and it's about transformation in a positive way. The ceremony will be next week, and it's about the consecration of a program that is a 10-month program where artists are selected from different countries, and for 10 months we go through a process because we need to make the model, revise the model, deal with the engineering, the wind of the Hudson River, the safety aspect is very important. Then we need to get different permits. And finally, we do the fabrication. And I can proudly say that I made almost everything myself, except the structure on the back that was made with the fabrication here. This place is called Serret, and we are in Gowanus, Brooklyn. For me, the inspiration is about renewal, rebirth. And that's something common to all my work, being paintings or statues. It's all about the hero's journey, the transformation. And so it's a very Caroline Bergonzi work. And I would even say that for some reason it's a next step, and the combination of the painting and the sculpturing skill. There is a lot of gold in my work in general, and this is almost painting with bronze on the steel. So this is like a very me piece of artwork, and I'm very proud of the result. So the first step was to start with a sheet of metal that I drew. I had done large copies I was prepared. So the drawing, then the plasma cutting that I am also very used to do, even sometimes in a very small and refined way. So that was the first step. Then shaping the piece, then blocking the piece because the wind is going to be very strong next to the river. So the structure had to be made. And then I did the brazing with bronze, and I spent about 120 hours, meaning 2 weeks and 3 weekends, to very delicately apply the metal onto the other, with a very hot temperature. And now finally I'm getting the contrast of the gold and the dark, which is also a typical symbol in my work. And I'm actually at the stage of doing the slight transition between the dark and the gold with some mica powder and some little bit of magic left. Yeah, the location is very important, and this is a little bit of a site-integrated sculptures. I was inspired by the location itself, which is on the side of on the bank of the Hudson River in Riverside Park South. And this is a place on 68th, 69th Streets. And the location is really between the Trump buildings and the landmark rude, I would say, rusty, beautiful monument that is in the river. So I wanted to also mix the two of the gold from the Trump and the rusty from the industrial past of New York City. And this is how the piece is going as a transition between those two poles, very extreme. Plus, it's such a wonderful, peaceful place. This park is incredible, and I really invite people to go there and look at the bird, maybe sit under the bird, feel like protection, and rest for a minute before going back in the city to the rat race. Big bird is a general symbol that is quite popular and universal, which is what I am interested in. So it's semi-abstract, so it can be seen as a bird, it can be just an explosion, it can be something that I believe when you see it in location high, it's about 26 feet wide, it's going to be at 14 feet high. And once the visitors will look up, I want them to have that sense of grandiose and really help them like breathe deep and look at something spectacular. So that's the experience that I want to share with the people each time they go there, and maybe go back to feel that, that feeling of empowerment and maybe even spirituality, depending on the beliefs of each. So that's my contribution. I want to bring like a moment of peace and empowerment and almost healing of the burn, like beauty to New York in my own humble way, like that's the intention. So now more precisely, the program itself is called M2M, meaning Models to Monument, and it's organized between the League of New York and the New York Park Department. And the theme of the year was, or is, patterns in nature. And my pattern is Metamorphosis, and I picked that name as a title for the piece itself. Patterns could be anything, could be waves, could be, but mine is about the pattern of explosion, but to the next level, metamorphosis, like the transformation that is a one-way transformation, not just a little change. And the opening will happen on June 11th. The official opening will be on June 11th on 2 o'clock, and it will be start on 60th Street with the few statues that we have there, and then ends up on 70th Street. So this will be the big date we have been looking for. So this piece is probably the last final model that describes we have been using it actually a lot to speak with the engineer, the civil engineer, to get the approval for safety, to get the fabrication, like a structure from the back. This is like the basic system. For the colors as well, I used it every day to see where I wanted to put the golden parts. And this is how it's going to be displayed in the park. So we'll see it from underneath, that flying, arrested fly moment in time, still with this transformation. And that was an existing base of concrete. And to hold the bird in a way that even a hurricane cannot take away, we are blocking it in a safe way with the 4 poles to keep it very stable. Because the calculations are incredible. When you put what is called the 2 drunken sailors, that's how the engineer describes it. So it's called the live load of people hanging. We don't want them, but they are supposed to be this high. This is 6 foot. But if people hang, that's weight. The snow is a weight as well. The wind, and we calculated with the hurricane. So we should be safe. But this is what it's going to look like starting next week. This is the booklet that I made for the presentation at the Park of New York City, the department, at the Arsenal, this incredible building, historical from New York, where application is to be presented for public art. So this is the first picture model, and this describes the theme of patterns in nature, what I was inspired from. These are like some other works that I made. It presents some all type of information. This is about the site itself. Here we have a photo I took of the Trump building. Here this is the vintage monument. This is where the piece is going to be between the both. The view, the drawings that I made of the mapping out the floor. The base, engineering drawings. So this is, and this is the location. We can see the statue here. And then description on how this was the original model that I made about a year ago. And then all type of research on site for the sizes to do all type of tests, and eventually for the fabrication as well. So all of this is a drawing like this one. This is a drawing that became this piece.